Hi, my name is Julianne and I'm a sophomore at Lockport Township High School, and this is 405 East's video on the difference between a General Assembly type and crisis type committee. We'll start with talking about a General Assembly GA committee, which are usually the closest models of an actual UN United Nations conference. For a conference, the agenda is set to discuss specific topics, and delegates will be able to fully prepare for the conference with the help of their topic guides, which are written by the chairs of their committee and usually available on the specific conference website. At the conference, delegates will participate in cycles of debate in the form of moderated or unmoderated caucuses and drafting of legislation in the form of resolutions. The committee usually ends with a vote on all resolution papers. Now, I'll give you a couple examples of a current and historical type GA committee. For an example of a current type committee, you could represent something from the UN, or such as like the Arab League, where you'd be a member of the Arab League, like Iraq, Egypt, Bahrain, etc., and you discuss a topic as it pertains to those countries, such as if you had civil rights, you'd have more specific things to research which are given to you in your topic guide, but you'd be able to look at the situation, current situation in your country. You might look at some historical things about how you got there, and then you'd sort of come up with solutions to propose at the conference. An example of a historical Model UN conference could be the United Nations Security Council, and you can represent any country going in, so there are different levels of power, but whatever you research, like if you research the Korean War, you'd go back and research the time of the war, what position your country took and what actions your country took at that time, and you can follow the same course or you can change things during the conference, basically pretending that it's all happening in current time. You can keep in mind, while at a GA conference, there's a wide variety of countries and positions, and some have more influence or more information to research than others, but you can make good points and perform well at a conference with any position. You just have to get a little bit more creative about it. Now, crisis conferences, crisis committees are usually considered more fun by Model UN people because they can be current, historical, or even fantastical. One memorable committee is the Jedi Council, where you could represent all the Jedis on the council and dive into the fantastical world of Star Wars for your conference. Like GA committees, an agenda is sent to delegates beforehand so they can prepare with research based on their topic guides, because it's usually a good idea to go into a conference with an idea or a plan for a resolution. Also, like GA conferences, delegates will participate in cycles of debate and drafting of legislation at the conference. The objective is still to get your resolution paper passed. Unlike GA conferences, crisis committees include updates during the conference, forcing delegates to think on their feet and react to new information. For example, a crisis conference I participated in on United States national defense included an unexpected crisis update where a bomb was deployed, decimating an entire city. This forced us to react. By the end of the conference, the resolutions passed into declarations of all-out war, which probably would not have happened without that update changing our course. In crisis conferences, delegates also get the chance to influence the events of the committees themselves with something called crisis notes. Crisis notes are written in the form of a letter and change the events of the conference. They're submitted to the chairs for approval, and over time, crisis notes contribute to something called a crisis arc, which is a sort of hidden scheme for your own character. This is a succession of secret notes that leads to your desired end result. For example, your position may not allow you to immediately overthrow the government, but with your crisis notes, you can slowly sow unrest, you can gather funds, you can gather support, and through these crisis notes, step by step, you can get to the end result of you overthrowing the government. Notes essentially provide backstory and a detailed plan, and it can be a good idea to go into a conference with a plan for your crisis arc ready to go. It may change based on updates during the conference, but it's always good to go in with sort of an idea of what you want to do. For example, in a recent crisis conference I participated in where we represented President Reagan's cabinet, one crisis note resulted in the president being assassinated after other notes that led up to this event, of course, which resulted in a new president being chosen, which was sort of that person's crisis arc. Crisis delegates pass directives, which are like shorter versions of resolutions, and that's just a little vocab thing, but it's important to note. Now keep in mind, like GA conferences, a wide range of positions are available, and You can have different levels of power and influence going into a committee, but again, a good delegate can make the most out of any of them. And in crisis conferences, you also have the option to use your crisis notes and crisis arcs to play a larger role in the conference and gain more power and influence for yourself. Thank you for watching, and for more information on how to prepare for a conference, position paper, resolution working papers, crisis notes, inner workings of committee, or anything else relating to Model UN, check out our YouTube channel at 405 East.